Pope Francis has landed. Pope Francis is in the U.S. for the historic 6-day trip. Right now, he's in Washington, D.C., where he touched down late this afternoon. He was greeted by President Obama and his family, and several school children were also there.
Yes, our Washington bureau chief, Jim Osman, is live at the Capitol to bring us insight and analysis of the Pope's visit to America. And Jim, we've heard alerts about security surrounding the Pope. Tell us what you observed today.
You know, it's been relatively quiet at the Capitol. There was a lot of activity at Andrews Air Force Base where the Pope landed, and in far northwest D.C. where he's staying. I think that's going to change very quickly. And there are really two types of events this week. There are controlled events that are at the Congress and the White House, where they're used to having dignitaries. Not obviously everyone's not Pope Francis, but they're used to that type of security. The other type of venues and events we're going to see this week are really these mass public events. Tomorrow certainly is of one concern. The Pope, of course, the People's Pope, wants to see the people, and so he's going to drive around in his Pope-mobile in D.C. And then when you get towards the weekend on Saturday and Sunday, the public masses that will be in Philadelphia, I think, will be somewhat of a security concern, and we'll keep an eye on that.
And Jim, we know that the Pope will visit the White House and will speak in front of Congress, and the leadership in Congress has given some direction about waves and fist bumps. Tell me how these visits are going to be different than with other dignitaries for the Pope.
You know, we were talking about this in our D.C. newsroom today about the visit of Benjamin Netanyahu earlier in the year in front of Congress. He was invited by Speaker Boehner, who invited Pope Francis, but that visit was so filled with acrimony. The Republicans were thrilled that the Israeli leader was here. The Democrats were not. And it was a far different event. I think that if you think of this, Pope Francis's favorability is 80+%. The Congress's is about 9%. And so what you're going to see is that congressmen and women wanting to give Pope Francis a bear hug, literally or figuratively, to hopefully have some of that rub on them.
It is such a historical moment. From looking at the Pope's entire visit, what does he have to look forward to for the rest of the week, Jim?
You know, I grew up in Philadelphia, and Philadelphia is kind of later in the week. This is Pope Francis's first visit to the United States, and, you know, the differences in the cities you'll see in the events. D.C. is obviously a town of politics, and New York, he'll visit in a solemn ceremony, ground zero. And then you get to Philadelphia, which is really where you'll see the public masses and the vast groups of people coming out of the Italian and Irish Catholic neighborhoods in South and Northeast Philadelphia. So I think Pope Francis is going to be treated to quite a visit, and it's going to be a bit of a ramp up. He's going to speak in front of Congress, and then later on in the week, I think, is really what he's probably going to enjoy the most, which is seeing the people.
Those public masses, and of course then he's on to New York for the United Nations. Jim Osman in Washington. Jim, thank you for talking with us, and we will check back with you tomorrow.